Alright, this project is for a client of ours. This is made out of a solid block of 1-inch acetal homopolymer. Delrin is the trade name usually used for this. This is the mounting for a proximity infrared sensor. We made about 350 of these. Each program run is 16, as you'll see here shortly. This is done with a 3-flute end mill. It's solid carbide, high helix. High helix is not optimal for plastic, but it's what we have in stock, and it works all right. This is running at about 65 inches a minute and 5100 RPMs. You can see the first pass we're doing is a waterline roughing pass. Alright, so only need to see really one of those. We're going to speed through the rest of the waterline passes. It basically duplicates out the exact same pocketing operations for the internal roughing on each sensor mount that you saw in normal speed for the first one. This program is using a fairly low pressure air blast to clear the chips. This keeps the cutter cool enough that you don't smell the famous vaporized formaldehyde smell that goes with machining Delrin when it gets hot. This makes a lot of chips. We're turning a lot of this block into scrap, but most of the heat does come out with the chip instead of the piece getting hot. Okay, right here we're finishing up the last of the internal waterline roughing, and we're about to start on the external waterline roughing and profiling. Each one of these parts already has had some holes drilled on the back side and some helicoil inserts installed. and the parts have been bolted through the fixture plate individually from the back side, which is going to hold them down after they're cut out of the block here. We're only going to show the first couple of passes here at real-time speed, and then we're going to speed up this operation. This operation takes maybe 15 or 20 minutes to fully remove the parts from the extra plastic, leave them standing alone on the plate. Alright, here we're just about to finish up the exterior profiling, roughing passes, and start dropping back to real-time speed here again. The next operations are all going to be finishing operations, and this is where this program is really very unoptimal. If we had to do a significant number more of these, I would have taken the time to really optimize this out a little bit more. The finishing ops for these particular parts probably did not have to be this intensive. Parts do come out really nice. The tolerances are very tight on these lowers, and we get exactly what we wanted as far as the part matching the model. However, it really is overkill for what these were intended to be, and I probably could shave off 20 or 30 minutes from this run by making most of the roughing come right down to the finishing depths, which you'll see here as we start to fast forward this, because you don't want to sit through this entire program, trust me. here we are just about ready to finish up all the final finishing passes and going to change tools and drill some holes. Number 38 drill is the tap drill for a fairly tight 632 hole, which we're going to end up tapping directly into the plastic. We actually hand tap these using a power tapping arm essentially, because it's a lot quicker than having a machine do it, and tapping Delrin is a little bit witchy. With the power tap, you got to be really careful when you're machine tapping it, or it can easily seize over the tap and have you end up breaking a really expensive spiral fluid tap, which is always traumatic. Okay, at this point we're going to start speeding through these holes. I think you get the idea what it looks like when the machine drills a hole. As soon as this finishes drilling most of these holes, we actually left some of them off as far as the video goes. As soon as we show the end of that, we're going to look at the overall plate now. This is give you a little bit better overview and better camera angle as to what these look like when they're done. I'll show you the assembled parts here on the bench in a second. You can see the bore in the cavity and all that kind of good stuff in that shot. Alright, here's the same plate on the bench, and this is what an entire assembly looks like when it's actually all done and removed from the plate. The screws for the top aren't in here, obviously, but you can see what the thing looks like. This is after the lid comes off. You can see little ears on the lid that retain the board, and there's a circuit card assembly in there that has an infrared proximity sensor on the back of it. These actually come from Parallax. And there's a polyethylene dome that lives on the other side of the card that we've cut a pocket for. Usually the dome's installed with some grease or some silicone to kind of waterproof the assembly from the outside. And this is the overall product. Couple of still shots here on the end showing you in a little better resolution what things look like.